All right, I'm back, and this stream is going to be about art, mostly just art, and that's it. It's going to be very boring, kind of dragged out at times. I'm also inventing as I go along, so you're seeing me in the process of brainstorming and thinking of how to make certain sculptures, and this time it's going to be blood cells. I'm going to turn on my cam and show you what I got so far. Go back to StreamYards. All right. Hi, here we are. You're going to hear my dog talking in the background a little bit today. She's she's actually very verbal, and uh, she talks a lot. So I'm going to just keep working. She's not allowed in my art room today because I'm going to be working with tools that have heat elements, and I don't want her to get tangled in the wires and worry about all that. I got a few red, well, they're not red yet. We'll make them red. But these are going to be the blood cells. All right, these I already have treated. I could see that I can sand them down. And what this is Sculpty clay. Let me pull that out and show you what I'm working with. It's just regular, original Sculpty clay, Sculpey. This is the cheap stuff. I don't need anything with color because I can always paint them and add the color myself. So I'm going to leave this sit here so you guys all know what I'm working with. Let me just get that name up there. I don't work for Sculpey. I don't endorse them. I'm just trying to show you what I'm working with. So I made these little things here that look like, I don't know, they kind of are going to have to do for red blood cells. And I did not bake them in the oven. I just hit them with the heat gun for a little while, and they're hard now. Or they're hard enough for what I need them for. So next, what I'm going to do, and you see that like this one's multiple colors. Uh, that's because I had worked with some clay. This is what I have, and sometimes I have different colors in there, which is not going to matter right now because I'm going to paint over it. And also with this Sculpty clay, if you've never worked with it before, you can sand it down. You can, if you have a rough spot or a indentation or something you want to sand down, you can always, sand that spot down and fill it in. Um, if you have any like odd shapes or humps and bumps, my fingernails, that's a problem. My fingernails sometimes leave an indentation that I have to sand out. So you just sand it out. It's easy going sanding, but your clay has to be hard before you can sand it. They recommend the oven at 275 for 10 minutes. And I don't want to light the oven and throw it in, hey, look at the price of propane right now. And I don't want to wait to heat up my oven for 10 minutes and take them out. I just hit them with the heat gun for about not even 10 minutes. The heat gun is producing a higher heat than 275. And whether or not it's, how can I put this? It's affecting the longevity or the quality of the clay when it's hardened. it's not going to matter for my sculpture because it's going to be put under a couple of coats of resin. So the hardness or fragileness of the clay's its structure itself isn't going to matter for me once it's under that resin. That's going to harden everything in. So I just see a couple of them here that I could actually sand down. I want them pretty even too. And I just made these with a stylus. And I'll show you where to get these tools on Amazon. I paid for all of these materials and supplies out of my pocket. I don't get paid for doing these videos. But if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, I'll gladly accept a donation. And you can find my link in my About Me page. And if you have any questions, comments, you can leave a comment under the video, or you can go to my About Me page and find my email information there and contact me about any questions about this art. I do take custom orders. Some things, I can't do. I can't produce. And I'll know right away if I can do it or not. I don't take every order I get. So I'm just going to sand these down a little bit, and then we're going to make one and actually show you how they're made. And then I'm going to paint them all up. All at the same time. So I'm just sanding out some marks. And actually, after I get the little piece painted, you'll be able to see if there's any other places you need to sand out. Because the paint will help bring out the imperfections. Let me see this one here. Up there. Yeah, I'm sorry that we've had some drama going on. I have a woman that's been harassing me for 6 years. And once in a while, I just cut loose back on her. And we wish she would stop, but it is what it is. Everybody, it seems like, is being harassed nowadays on the internet. It seems like the way social media is. So we're just going to sand this down. A little bit more. This one here looks kind of rounded. I'd like it a little bit flatter. Let's just sand it down. You can take off a little bit more. And then I see one more mark on this one I want to sand out. Okay. Now, we will wipe those off before we paint them. Now what I'm going to do is pull out a piece of clay and show you how I made it. Just take a piece of Sculpey. If you've left your Sculpey sit for a little while, you're going to have to soften it up a little bit, make it easier to work with, a little more pliable. And if the heat from your hand helps soften it, good hand exercises. So I'm just going to pinch off a little piece. That feels about right. And I made a little ball, just like when we used to play with Play-Doh when we were kids. There's some fond memories, huh? But I just want to make this nice and round. I'm going to keep rolling it until it looks as round as possible. Just roll it into my fingers and very lightly try and make that nice and round. And when I think I got where I need it, I'm just going to take this stylus and put it right down and smash it in there. It's going to stick a little bit to this tag board, but there I have another one made. Now try and get the stylus out without wrecking your piece. Just very kind of carefully lift up on it. And just, I could just pull it off and then straighten my piece back out. But you just have patience and do a little bit at a time, hopefully. Hopefully it'll come out nice and easy. And it didn't. And I smushed it. But that's okay. It's, the clay is very pliable. It's workable. You can work it back into a round shape. And there you go. Besides, this is really abstract art. And I think that these little blood cell things will actually get the point across. Let me show you the COVID virus that I created. And these are made with styrofoam balls cut in half and cloves stuck in there, and then they're painted. So these are the red blood cells because this is a piece of COVID art that I'm making. I wanted to do this for a while, but I didn't want to when COVID was first coming out, and it was really something for everybody, and I know that we've lost a lot of people, and I didn't want to really seem like I'm making a mockery or making money off of the event myself. So I waited, and now that COVID is pretty much understood and just kind of like a everyday thing now, I'm going to do my piece of art. So that's how I made them. This one's a little bit bigger. I could probably take a little bit of clay out of there. This one's large too. So we're going to leave it. Now what I do is you got to move your clay. I'm going to move it out of the heat. Do my other stuff. And we're going to hit this with the heat gun now. Just a regular heat gun. And get these out of the way. And I'll show you about how long it takes. The heat gun's on low for the blower. And I just hold it a couple inches away. Try and hit the heat all the way around it. right now, the surface is really hot. You can see this mat that I have down is actually warping from the heat. So I'm going to take the heat off of it for a little bit. This piece, don't touch it right away because it's hot. But I'm going to just flip it over real quick and hit the bottom of it a little bit. You know, you don't want to burn it or anything. You don't want to hold the heat on it too long. But I'm going to let that cool down a little bit now and check it out. I should have a little holster here for my heat gun to go in. All right, I just got a drink of water. Nice and warm. It's pretty hard. I just got to level it off a little bit. So I'll bring my sandpaper back in. Whew, it's just warm yet. And I'm going to sand this down just a little. I think that it could stand a little bit more heat, a little bit longer. I kind of rushed it a little bit because of, being live on the stream. I didn't want to make it too long, but it is hard enough to sand, so we're good. All right. Just gonna sand the edges down a little bit to get any lines or imperfection out. Then we're going to take and clean all this dust off and paint them. And then make white blood cells. The white blood cells, I looked at them on Google at microscopic views, and I thought, I can make those. So I'm going to go back to the styrofoam balls for those white blood cells. I'm just going to sand the inside a little bit. You know, after you make your first one, your second one will turn out better. And if you like working with clay, there's so many different things you can do with it. If you go around and notice texture, the texture is the thing here. And if you look around your house, you'll find a lot of things that have a unique texture. Like, I should give you an example. This is one of my phone mounts. You see it has a clip. Let me see, go this way. It has a clip here, and the phone fits in here. There's a texture on it right here, a honeycomb texture that I thought was neat, and I might be able to do something with that. I just take a little piece of clay and press it on there good. Okay. Press it down good. You can take something, a pen, a pencil. I have a different stylus here. These are the real small ball tip styluses. And then you can take and, roll that out kind of flat. I think I did this with my other blood cells. So now that, it's kind of flattened out nice, you can take a shape, let's see, like a little cup or prescription bottle, something round, a thimble maybe. Just don't get your clay stuck inside of it. Okay, so here I've got a little cap from a bottle, and I'm just gonna cut the clay down. All right, take this. Now this is gonna be stuck on here. I've never really mastered the art of picking it up without ruining the shape. So I think that there are other tools out there to help you do things like that. You can find them on Amazon, but I'd carefully trim that up. Yeah, here we have a little edge going on. So here now we have a little honeycomb texture in there. See? I might even be able to use that for some kind of bug on my art. I don't know. So, anyways, let's put that away now and bring out the paint. And these are nice and red. I noticed that I think maybe I might change the color of my COVID pieces, because the red blood cells are red, and with the COVID virus thing, I might have too much red, and I'm thinking about changing up the color on that. The white blood cells will be white. I'm going to actually make an off-white. I'm going to make like an antique white. I'm going to mix just a little bit of yellow, burnt umber, and orange with my white paint. And right now you just get the dust off. I have just a spray of alcohol on my paper towel here, and I'm getting the dust off, and I'm just going to paint them up a little bit. I'm just going to use Saks brand this time, because I like the color of this red. It's like a darker red. It's a cold red. It's not a warm color red. And I only need a little bit of paint, so I'm going to get a little cup and start painting. I got my jar of water here for my paintbrush. Make sure I have all my tools handy. All right, we're going to paint. This is a very thick-bodied paint. This is our acrylic paint. These could even be painted with tempera paint. So now, do you realize why I put an age restriction on this video? Because, I'm working with a heat gun and things like that. It's really not for kids. Unless you work with your kids and you run the heat elements, like you put it in the oven, you run your heat gun and stuff like that. All right, I'm just going to grab a paintbrush and paint these up real quick. I'm going to do one side at a time. So I'm just going to, just hold it in my hand and down there, that's better. And just dab them with paint. These little things are hard to paint. There. Hold them down. I just want to get the top real good. I'll flip them over when that's dry, and then I'll paint the bottom. Just paint these. There's no way to avoid getting paint on my fingers here unless I wear gloves. But the hands are washable. I'm just going to get a good coat of paint on these and set them aside to dry. There we go. Got a good coat of paint on them. And we'll just set them on the side to dry. And next, what I'm going to do is clean my paintbrush. I like to clean my paintbrushes right away. I don't like to leave them sit in the water. So let me take care of that. You can't have enough paper towel or rags. We're going to set that aside. And I'm just going to scoop these little red blood cells off to the side before they stick to the paper and let them dry. And then we're going to be, oh, it looks like somebody bled out here. We're going to wipe off my fingers here. I'm just going to spray them with a little bit of alcohol and just get the most of it off. But right now we're going to invent something. We're going to invent the white blood cells. And I've got a couple of, just hold on a minute. I got to cover up this red paint so it doesn't dry out. Acrylic paint dries out really fast. Okay, now I've got a couple more styrofoam balls cut in half right here. And I was looking at white blood cells under, they were magnified, and they're on Google. I just Googled them. And I thought, I can make that. And what they looked like to me was a white ball, kind of like a COVID, all right? But they had holes. Besides the little spiky things, they had holes inside with what looked like little tiny microscopic, more like ultra microscoped worms coming out. And that's how I think infections spread. So with that, I thought, I can do that. I can make that. So I thought, let's poke some holes. Let's poke some holes in here. And now I have to plug in my hot glue gun. We're going to use a hot glue gun to attach some little squirmy worms and spikes on these white blood cells. So let me plug in, get that heat gun started up. Or my hot glue gun started up. It's going to take a while. It's just a little hot glue gun, but a little cheapo. Make sure my heat gun is cooled off. And I put that away right away because of my dog and having all these wires from these tools. Because she goes under the table and she can get caught in these wires and drag the tools and have a catastrophe. So I'm always cautious of my surroundings when I'm working with hot tools. So now what I thought, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take something here. I've just got a skewer. You can take a pencil, pen, and I'm going to just make a few holes in this half a styrofoam ball. It's going to go in there about 1/4 of an inch, and besides these holes, I'm going to put spikes in this too. So that's what the white blood cells look like to me. Okay. Got 5 holes. That'll do. All right. So on one of my past streams, you've seen me trying to make something like a DNA. And this is what I came up with. I am going to use this, but I think this is the only one I'm going to use on that sculptured art. Yeah. So I started, trying to make the DNA a couple different ways, and I gave up on it. This is the only piece of DNA that's going to be on that sculptured art. So I took some of the wires apart that on my second attempt, and if you just slide these big wires out, you have, little coils from the little winding wire that you wind around. It was in someone's chat room the other night that I was looking at this, and thinking about how to make this DNA and these blood cells, and I had a brainstorm. I'll use the styrofoam balls and these little coils here. I'm going to pull that apart, and that's going to be the little wormy things. And I'm going to stick them in this styrofoam ball and try to make it look like the little wormy things. And then I'll put the spikes in. And the spikes that I'm going to use, I'm going to cut down Q-tips. I'm going to use this part of the Q-tip, and instead of cloves, because my COVID viruses use the cloves. I don't want these to look the same as the white blood cells. So we're, structuring them different. Their composition is going to be different. And I'm going to just get my wire snips out here and just take some little pieces of this wire, and I'm going to stick them in the holes here. I'm going to fill that hole with hot glue and glue these right in. But this is what I meant that the other night when I was in chat, and I said, I have a brainstorm. This is what I thought about. This is a kind of a big sculptured piece of art that I've been working on. It's been a project for me. And I think about it a lot when I'm not working on it. And so when an idea comes to me, I call it a brainstorm. My family is pretty used to me having brainstorms because I work on art quite often. And all of a sudden, I'll just out of nowhere say, oh, I just had a brainstorm. And Yeah, so they're used to that. And that means I come up with an idea. So that kind of looks like little worms coming out of a hole, like I seen on Google. Dr. Google is going to bend this wire a little. And snip. Get a drink of water. So yeah, that's what I think of a lot. Always thinking about how to make something, and it sometimes the ideas come to me at the weirdest time. A lot of times when I'm riding in the car, I get brainstorms and these thoughts on how to do something that has been bothering me for a while, and I'm trying to figure out how I can make something. And at certain moments, like when it's least expected, this stuff just comes to me. I mean, we were in a chat, not even talking about art, and hey, I had an idea. That's the way it happens. This one I'm going to make a little bit more spirally. I wonder if my glue gun is hot by now. But I'm going to get all these pieces in the holes. So I got a while yet. It don't matter if the heat gun is. They don't feel like they're going to come out because I'm kind of poking them in the styrofoam a little bit to kind of hold them in place. But I'll definitely need to hot glue them before I start putting the little spikes in there, because these will probably fall out by then. I should have some music playing or something in the background, but I didn't line anything up for that, and I don't want to get a copyright strike. So you'll just have to bear with me mumbling here and talking about it as I go along. I hope you're all having a good day. See how it's looking so far? I'm trying to make it look like little bugs or like little wormies coming out of a hole. All right, this would be for a white blood cell. So I do the weirdest things, don't I? I guess I do. But I'm making sculptured art, and this isn't the first time. I've done weird things like this before, so nothing's new. Nothing is new. In fact, I'm gonna snip that off. And put it down in there. There we go. I have to get some more wire. I ran out. And there was some here. Here it is. Just have to find the end of this piece. Now this piece here, I'm going to wire here very small. I had an extra piece here, quite a long length I was going to use. Now this I'm going to have to shape. So I've only got one more hole, and I think I'm going to put one more wormy over here. So I have a tool, or I can even just wind it around a skewer, just wind it around anything. Otherwise, I had a tool that I can bend this around. I only need little bitty pieces. Let me poke them in here. All right. We're almost done with the wire and the worm part. Next, I'll hot glue them in there. And I'm just going to make one for you, and then I'll make the rest of them off camera, because I'm probably going to make about, let me see, I have, how many red blood cells do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I do. I'm probably going to make 10 of these if I can, if I have enough balls. If I have enough balls, I'm going to make 10 more. I see why I like to adult rate my stuff, because that's just the way I am. It's just the way I am. And there. I think it looks good to me. All right. Let's glue them in there. A few little snowflakes still sifting down here. We got another dusting of snow. Like we really need snow. But it's okay. It'll be melted by noon. The day is still young. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just put a little hot glue in, just to hold those wires in place. I hate working with hot glue. I hate it because it's so stringy. But it's convenient. Yes. All right. All right. Just glue that one. Okay, now we have to go through and quality check. Make sure that this is pretty solid. That hat glue. Yuck. Looks good to me. So this is what the little worms are going to look like on the white blood cell. Now I'm going to take and cut up a couple Q-tips and kind of fray the ends, and I'm going to use my wire cutters. So I'm going to make these a little bit shorter. I think what I'll do is stick them in there and then nip them off so I can see how long they are. And to fray the edges, I thought taking like a pliers or my nippers. Yeah, my nippers here, and just cutting down that way, just to fray that tip a little bit. Okay. No, I don't think I'm going to fray the tips. Change my mind at the last minute. I can do that. Oh, that Q-tip went flying. All right. I'm going to go right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Let's get another one. Right here. right here. Yeah, can't move over. Yeah, my Q-tip went flying. Okay, so there we have a little white blood cell. And now I need to go mix up some paint. Actually, I think I'm going to glue these in just a little bit, just in case, because they are kind of loose. So I'm just going to put a little hot glue on there and stick them back in the hole. And I'm making all kinds of strings. I mean, look at this is magic. I've been accused of being able to do black magic and everything on here. Watch. Okay. Okay, I'm going to make this piece move all by itself. Look at that magic. Oh my God. Okay, that's enough clowning around. Let's get back to work here. All right. Yeah, the woman harassing me says that I do black magic. I just, I gotta make fun of this stuff. I guess, it's the only way to really cope with it is to just make fun of it. I'm not gonna let the woman make me cry about being cyberbullying me on YouTube. It's nothing to cry about. No matter how humiliating they try to make it be, they will do that. I ran out of hot glue, and I have to find my hot glue. Let's see. I have it in a drawer. Not in that drawer. Not over there. It's probably here on my desk right in front of me. I have to find my hot glue. I think a ghost come and took my hot glue sticks. Happens all the time at my house. We have a thief for a ghost here. They come and they take our stuff and then put it back right in front of you. And it happens all the time. Let me see. Okay, I found it was in a drawer. Was not the ghost this time. But we do have a ghost here. And she, yeah, I think it's him. I really think it's my father-in-law, in fact. And because he used to live here, I'm going to tell a little ghost story. I'm going to take a break and tell a little story. So we think that my father's spirit is living around here, and he has a lot to do with some of the things that come up missing on us. Even if my husband's working on a project, all of a sudden his tool is gone, and it was right in front of him. And he'll be looking around and start spreading out further, looking around for the tool. It's gone. So he'll, usually come and sit down and talk to me. He says, my tool's gone again. And I'll get up, because I can probably just go right to his, work table and say, right there it is. And usually sometimes on the way there, or if I can't find it on his work table, we will find the tool like on the kitchen cupboard or some other place from where my husband's working. It happens to me. It happens to him. It's happened to other people that have stayed here in our family, that they notice, hey, this is gone, or I'm looking all over the place for it. I come back and it's right there, right out in the open. So we blame it on a ghost, and we think it's my father-in-law. So that's a little ghost story here for you. I just took a break. I'm almost done with this stream. I'm just going to mix the paint and paint this this little white blood cell that I made right after I'm done gluing in the little spikes. So this seems to be intact pretty well, but those hot glue strings, ugh. I need to just get those off. All right. When I paint, I'm going to cover up the copper wire too. So that's the white blood cell that I'm going to paint. And those, hey Tams, thanks for joining me. Okay, you have to go back and pick up your cat tomorrow. They're going to keep them overnight. I was making a white blood cell. That's what this is. Now I'm going to paint it. I'm going to unplug my hot glue gun. No, maybe I'll leave it plugged in. Okay, now I need to make some paint. Got me a little cup. I only need a little bit of paint. And I'll be right back. Just have to go right here. Get the colors that I need. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of burnt umber and make it like sort of an antique white paint. Let me get that burnt umber on my desk already. Yep, it is. All right, now I just need my white. Just put these paints here. Oh, you have a Maine Coon cat. Aww. Oh, so you're going to pick them up today, the same day? Wow. Well, good luck with your little guy. I mean, he's probably going to be a little sore. That'll slow him down for the day. It's going to be hard to keep him from jumping. Are you going to keep him in his cat carrier to keep him from jumping up on stuff? Because I think, what's the instructions you get when you take them home? I think they can't. It's been 13 years since I had my dogs, and I've never had a cat neutered before, so I really don't know what the instructions are. So I'm making a little antique white paint, and I'm just going to paint up my white blood cell. These are the red blood cells that I made. And these are the little COVID bugs. That's the DNA. I've made some other creatures that could be microscopic germ cells. And I'm going to be incorporating all this stuff onto a sculptured art. I've made some worms. These are virus worms. And I'm going to be putting those worms on there. I have some fancy worms with ball chain. I'm going to be using ball chain itself. And these beads, I thought these beads kind of looked a little interesting. It looked like I could incorporate these on some other type of viruses. And I also have, let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I have this space COVID one. I mean, this one looks like it's from outer space. And then I have, for the big stuff, I've got masks. I've got needles. Well, no, plungers. We call these plungers. They ain't got no needle. They're not going to have a needle. And then we've got the blindfold, and with the eyes sewn shut to represent a political statement. Now, on these hypo plungers, I am on one of them. We're going to try and get Trump. We're going to try and get Trump riding. He's going to ride that hypo like a rocket. And they're all going to be like pointing at and moving at that blindfold. So Trump's going to ride this like a rocket, like a warp speed. And this is like actually a political piece of art. I don't do a lot of political things. I hate politics. But this one is one of my political pieces of art. And Trump's going to be riding the rocket here. You know, I don't know how I'm going to make Trump, though. You know, I could make him out of clay, like a little clay figure. But I think I'm going to cheat and cut him out of paper and just attach the paper somehow. So I just put a little bit of brown on this skewer. Okay. I'm not going to, I think that's even too much. And I'm just going to mix my white. I want an antique white. Oh, man, what a mess. I didn't mean to get that much paint on there. Okay. There. So, yeah, that's my political piece of art. These are the white blood cells, so I don't want a real bright white, so I'm trying to tone it down a little bit and make an antique white. I think I got it. I think I do. This mixed in good. Yeah, me too. I mean, in my family, because everybody's so diverse, I might as well put a little light on now. Everybody, has diverse so much diversity going on here and different opinions and on things. Politics can lead a person into fighting and division, and we don't want those kinds of uh, dysfunctions in our family over something so stupid. But it's happened to a lot of families, and we know that this can happen. And so we don't talk about politics in my house. We don't talk about religion. Um, we just, keep it neutral, and everybody gets along that way. We kind of accept each other's, views and opinions. Yeah, that's cool. That's okay. Everybody has a right to their own, and we just accept each other. And that's the way we do it here. And it works for us. It don't always work for everyone else, but it works for us. Okay, I'm going to get another paintbrush here and paint up this white blood cell and see how this is going to work. These styrofoam balls require a couple of coats of paint. Now, when this dries, you'll be able to see the detail a lot better because the paint dries and kind of shrinks, sucks in, and you'll be able to see the little copper wires representing little worms coming out of this white blood cell. You see, I feel like doxing myself so you can make them. Make a costume. That's funny. All right. I could make you a hat with these little COVID bugs on there, and you could wear a hat like that. It would just be costume. I've made so many stage props in my life. It's ridiculous. So is my husband. He's even incorporated some of his woodworking into stage props. And they used one and they gave it back, and it was they did at the theater. Look at this hot glue string. They did a pirate show at the theater, and my husband incorporated or donated for a stage prop a huge wooden sword that he made, and we have it on display here just for a very good conversation piece. But he let them use that in their play. So we've been involved with the theater for quite a while. Okay, so that's it. Let it dry, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's dry. And I will be back when I've got all of my pieces prepped, and then I'll show you the next step. But right now I'm spending a lot of time prepping pieces and getting things ready to glue onto the canvas to make this sculptured piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the prep work off camera. I got 10 of these to make. And do you have any? Yeah, mine went away. It's gone. This is the wrist it was on. I can tell that there was something there, but it never bothers me anymore. Totally gone. I never got one in the other wrist. But yeah, you can kind of tell that there was something there at one time. If I overwork it, yeah, I can notice it. But if I let this rest for a couple days, even that swelling goes down more. But yeah, mine was actually black and blue. That's because there's a vein running through there, and I think the vein is what was making it look black and blue. So yeah, that's it. We have all these aches and pains and all these things bothering us, but we just keep plugging along and doing what we got to do. I had to get my chores done before I could start my art today, and I had some things to do with Sasha, and I got my chores done, and here I am doing my art. I would say mine took about 6 months as well. And here, the doctor was real quick to send me to a bone and joint surgeon. Oh, we can remove that, but I just waited it out. I didn't want to have surgery for that. And sure enough, they did go away, and I was surprised. I was really surprised. My son had that happen to him when he was in his teens. He got one, but he was overtaxing his wrists from running a hand controller for video games. It was too much. And he always used to say his wrist was out of joint because that's what he thought it was. But no, he had one of these gangling cysts because it went away and never come back. So yeah, when you work too much and overtax your joints, sometimes you can get funky things growing on them. So here we've got our red blood cells, our COVID, and our white blood cells, some DNA, and some other kind of worms. And I'm going to paint up all this and get them ready to stick down on a canvas. And yeah, hopefully I'll be done with this project because I've already got the next project lined up, and I'm going to be sanding down a guitar and pouring paint on it, and then painting and embellishing that paint pour. So, I've got work to do. It's like lots of work to do, and I got to get this stuff done. So I don't want anybody telling me that, oh, you got to go see this now. So and so did a video on you, and all those people harassing. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. That's it, and if she does, and if she keeps it up, I'll address it when I can. But yeah, I am still doing wire wrapping. In fact, this is what I got going. It's kind of sentimental. After the guitar, I'm planning on making a couple pieces of jewelry as possibly a matching set for Proud American's daughter. You see her come in my chat sometimes. I like her so much. Oh my God, she's a beautiful person. She drives a bike. Yeah, she is cool. She's a biker chick. I love her. I love her. So here's the thing. Proud had asked me to make her something, and I didn't get a chance to do it, because I have other projects going on too, and these things take time when they're handmade. I didn't get it done on time. So I feel bad because I didn't get to fulfill that obligation. It actually wasn't an obligation, it was a favor for a friend. And I offered to make the project for her daughter and like something matching if they both wear bracelets or if they both want boot chains or something, or a necklace or something matching. Maybe one wants a bracelet, one wants a necklace, but they kind of match together, something corresponding with each other. And I'm going to do that for them. And I already talked to her about it, and it's a great idea. So um, it's a way to make me feel um, like I fulfilled that favor. And I think I'm going to be celebrating Proud's life during the time that I'm making this jewelry too. And I really have a feeling that Proud would want me to do this. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. But, I have my other orders coming up and I got to take care of them first too, because I'm dealing with customers. This painting that I'm working on, this sculptured art, this COVID one, this will be up for sale. It'll be on Etsy. I'm putting it up with a starting price of $1,200. I know a lot of people's eyes just bulged out and jaws dropped down. But yeah, I'm not kidding. That's how many hours I have in it. Actually, before I set a price, I guess I should really see it for myself when it's done. Maybe it might not be worth $1,200. Big dreams, huh, Brenda? A starving artist. I'm starving. My dog eats better than I do. I starve so my dog can eat. Today she's getting chicken, carrots, and blue buffalo large breed puppy chow. So I should actually do a video on her. Some of it's going to be organ meat. She gets 80% muscle, 10% bone, and 10% organ meat. Dog eats better than I do. Oh my God. Hey, were you here for that time when I talked about the ghosts that we have here? We have one. Yes, we sure do. And they move our tools around. Every time we're working on something, tools disappear right from beneath us. And I'll tell you about that sometime. Sometime we should do a show on some of the ghost experiences we've had. You know, I can show you pictures of a haunted house that I have on my road. If you got a minute, I'm going to talk to you a minute. I like to talk to you privately. If you got a minute. So I'm going to end this broadcast, and I'll send you a link, and we can talk. But I don't have a lot of time. I got to keep going here. So I'm going to end out. I'll see you guys in my next video. The next time I be back on this art project is when I have all the pieces painted, and I'm ready to go and paint on the canvas. I'm going to be doing a special technique painting for the background of this, and we're going to put all of these sculptured pieces on top of it. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that I gave you some ideas on how to make little things for your sculptured art, and talk to you guys soon.